So have you ever sat down and thought, no matter how many times I play through this game, this will always be fun, adventurous, thrilling, or just straight up fucking terrifying? That's obviously an over-exaggeration, but Outlast still scares me. No matter how many times I speedrun it, it still scares the ever-living shit out of me. Not really to the point of like screaming in my microphone at the top of my lungs, but to the point where I clench my ass cheeks and maybe make a noise or two if I think Chris Walker or a random variant is too close behind me. Because the chase scenes in Outlast are done so excellently if you put aside the really bad AI. Because realistically, if you know how to exploit the AI, which honestly isn't really that hard, you can run through the game without getting hit a single time. But what makes the chase scenes in Outlast so utterly terrifying, Outlast Whistleblower, Outlast 2 has some good chase scenes, but really the game is not my cup of tea. Outlast 1 and Outlast Whistleblower have excellent chase scenes throughout the entire game. And I really like how Red Barrels emphasized on not putting in a chase scene every 2 fucking minutes in Outlast, which I believe is kind of an issue they had in Outlast 2, because they just do chase scene after chase scene, and basically it was just run away until the music stops. An example of the recurring chase scene that worked well in Outlast is right before you meet Richard Traeger. So after you get out of the sewers and you're in, I believe it's the male ward, where after running from the variants for a little while, Miles jumps over the gap, and just when you think you might have gotten away for a little bit, the variants are right back on your ass. But after escaping the variants, you hop into a waiter and you're taken by Richard Traeger where your fingers are cut off. And I believe that is a perfect example of a recurring chase scene that is done well. Especially since the music in Outlast just captures every single moment perfectly. I want to emphasize that. If you really think about it, the chase scenes in Outlast would not be nearly as good without its phenomenal music. Also, a contributing factor to why the chase scenes in Outlast are so perfect is that you really know who's chasing you. Chris Walker, through his heavy breathing, through his gritted teeth, and his clanking chains, you can definitely tell he's fucking on your ass and ready to rip you in two. Traeger spouts a witty one-liner before beelining it towards you and shoving his bone shears through your abdomen. The Wall Rider has his own music, obviously, which is absolutely terrifying when in chase with him, and the noises he emits while he's chasing you are utterly fucking terrifying. Obviously, this game is not going to be as scary to someone who's played through it multiple times, such as myself. I still do definitely get scared, especially in the Whistleblower DLC, because I have not played that nearly as much as I have the original Outlast. But I remember the first time when I played through the first Outlast, and I got to the laboratory, and I ran into my first encounter with the Wall Rider, and I proceeded to scream at the top of my lungs, waking everybody in my house up because it was 3 a.m. Now, because I've played through the game multiple times, the Wall Rider's chase scenes don't really scare me as much anymore, and I have no idea why. Well, Chris Walker's mere presence just scares the shit out of me. And Traeger's is unnerving, and as soon as he starts chasing me, it's the most terrifying thing in the game. No contest for me. The twins are a bit of an interesting case since they don't really have a chase theme. They just kind of walk, but they're really quiet, so that's kind of scary. But it's really easy to avoid them if you just straight up run past them. When standard variants chase me, it still scares me. Not as much as Walker or Traeger do though. Not by a long shot. So I'm done talking about chases for now. I wanted to emphasize and kind of focus on Outlast's atmosphere, which I believe Outlast does execute very well, and what they were going for, they achieved it 100%, and they broke the gold standard in my opinion. The original Outlast focuses on Mount Massive Asylum. No shit, right? Miles Upshur travels to Mount Massive Asylum after receiving inside news from Wayland Park about terrible experiments going on there. A prominent example being the experiments with the morphogenic engine and the Wall Rider. Although Park never states this directly in his emails to Upshur. Miles right now is in fact an investigative journalist who is self-employed because he was released from his company after posting inappropriate content about a situation in Afghanistan. For whatever reason, Miles does seem very determined to break through Murkoff and expose them for what they really are. When Miles first arrives to Mount Massive Asylum, before he even gets to the main building, you can already tell it's going to be quite a ride. All that you, the player, have brought with you is a camcorder with night vision, and that's about it. So, when you first get a good look at Mount Massive Asylum, it's an absolutely huge building, it's old, and it's fucking creepy. Basically, the presence of the building tells you to buckle up, fucko, because you're going to be in for a ride. Even though the game does not constantly put you in chases, when you first play through this game the first or second time, you're constantly worrying about, is there going to be someone around this corner? Am I going to have to run for my life? Am I going to have to hide? All that shit. Once you do play through this game a few times, though, you will come to understand that a lot of this is scripted. No shit. One thing I say will cut down on people's experience if they play through the game more than 2 times is the fact that if that player decides to hide and they're not already in a chase with a variance or Traeger or Walker, they will basically never be found because the AI in the game is programmed to automatically check the locker next to you, and it never, ever checks the locker which the player is hiding in. The only exception to this rule being that if you literally get into a locker right in front of your pursuer, they're obviously going to check it. And that one Eddie Gluskin scene where he just finds you 100% of the time because it's scripted, and that's how the story progresses. I got a little bit off track there, but I will say the atmosphere in this game, again, is absolutely extraordinary. If you play through this game for the first time, it always keeps you on your toes. So next, I really wanted to quickly cover the jump scares. There's not too much to cover on the jump scares in this game, mainly because there's not really that many. I guess aside from when you're hiding in a corner and a variant spots you hiding in the corner, and then the chase music immediately starts and they start beating the ever-living shit out of you. I'm referring to the scripted jump scares here. So the scripted jump scares, long story short, they really do their job well on the first to third playthrough of this game. Hell, there's a few jump scares that make me jump a little bit. Still, even after playing through this game so many times, there are certainly jump scares that'll get me a little bit. I was going to sit back and discuss the AI a little bit, but then I remembered that, oh my god, the AI in this game is very small brain. Like, holy shit, it is not that good once you know how to exploit it. Although I prefer not to exploit the AI when I play through the game, just, you know, because I want to play the game. Because I only really exploit the AI if I'm going for like a glitchless speedrun for some reason. Which honestly, speedruns in video games I feel like are better with glitches, because a glitchless speedrun is just playing through the game really fast. And it also offers replayability value to people who have already played through the game so many times. But I think that's all I really wanted to talk about and go over. So yeah, that's all I got. Goodbye now.